Have you ever noticed how mornings feel a little different now than they did when you were younger? Maybe you wake up slower, or it takes a little more effort to get moving. The truth is, mornings set the tone for our entire day, especially as we get older. And the way we choose to begin our mornings can either fill us with energy and calm, or leave us feeling sluggish and weighed down. That's why I want to talk to you today about something simple, something anyone can do, and yet incredibly powerful 7 easy morning habits designed for seniors who want to live with less clutter. Less stress and more joy. Living minimally doesn't mean living without. It doesn't mean throwing away everything you own or pretending you don't need comfort or convenience. What it really means is choosing to keep only what adds value to your life and letting go of what no longer serves you. And when you combine this idea of minimal living with small, intentional morning habits, the results can be truly life-changing. Imagine starting your day not with chaos or overwhelm, but with a calm sense of purpose, energy, and gratitude. That's exactly what these habits are about. So let's dive right in. Picture this. You've just woken up. The light is peeking through the curtains. Before you even reach for your phone or shuffle into the kitchen, you pause. You take a slow breath in, and then out. This is the first habit starting your morning with mindful breathing. It might sound almost too simple, but here's why it matters. As we age, our bodies naturally deal with more stiffness, more tension, and sometimes more worry. Just 2 or 3 minutes of slow, deep breathing signals to your nervous system that you're safe, you're calm, and you're ready for the day. It clears the mental clutter before the physical clutter even has a chance to creep in. And the beauty is, you don't need a yoga mat or any fancy routine. Sit on the edge of your bed, close your eyes, inhale slowly through your nose, hold it for a moment, and exhale gently through your mouth. Try this 5 or 6 times. It's a reset button that costs nothing, takes almost no time, and can dramatically shift how you feel before your feet even hit the floor. From there, let's move into another habit that's just as powerful: gentle movement. Now, I don't mean running laps or pushing your body to exhaustion. I'm talking about simple, intentional stretches that ease your joints awake and remind your muscles they're still strong and alive. If you've ever noticed how stiff your back feels after sleeping, or how your knees creak when you first stand, this is your moment to loosen up. A few arm circles, a gentle stretch toward the ceiling, rolling your shoulders back, or even slowly lifting your knees while sitting on the bed, all of these wake up the body without stress. Think of it like oiling a hinge. A little movement each morning keeps everything working more smoothly throughout the day. And here's something important. You don't need a long, complicated exercise routine to make a difference. Just 5 minutes of light stretching or walking around the room is enough to increase blood flow, improve balance, and reduce the risk of falls. Plus, it clears away that heavy, sleepy feeling that can sometimes linger in the morning. Pair it with your breathing, and you'll notice how your body feels lighter and more awake without even needing that first cup of coffee yet. Now, let's talk about the third habit: simplifying your morning environment. Living minimally isn't just about what you do, it's also about what surrounds you. Think about your bedroom or the space you first see when you wake up. Does it feel calm and open? Or does it feel crowded and distracting? The first images your brain takes in every morning set the stage for how your day feels. A cluttered nightstand, piles of clothes, or too many objects around can send a message of stress before you've even started. But a clear surface with just the essentials, a lamp, a book, maybe a glass of water, invites calm and focus. Here's a small but powerful habit. Before bed, spend 1 or 2 minutes clearing the space you'll see in the morning. Fold that blanket, place your glasses neatly, put away the newspaper or remote control. When you open your eyes the next day, instead of being greeted by clutter, you're greeted by clarity. It's a minimal living principle wrapped into a morning routine. And this doesn't just help your mood, it can also make moving around safer, with fewer things to trip over or bump into. When you put these 3 habits together, mindful breathing, gentle movement, and creating a simple environment, you begin to see how mornings can shift from something rushed or heavy into something intentional and freeing. You don't need to follow a strict schedule or buy special tools. You just need to give yourself permission to start small, start slow, and let the habits build naturally. And here's the secret: these little changes have a ripple effect. When you breathe deeply first thing in the morning, you're less likely to feel stressed when small frustrations pop up later in the day. When you stretch your body gently, you're less likely to feel stiff and sore by the afternoon. When you wake up to a clear space, you're more likely to feel calm and focused instead of overwhelmed. It's like planting seeds that grow into a lighter, more peaceful life. So as we keep going, think about this. Your mornings don't need to look like anyone else's. They don't need to be complicated or filled with a dozen tasks. They just need to work for you, to give you energy, clarity, and calm. And with just a few intentional steps, you can design mornings that not only support your health, but also make your whole day feel more meaningful. One of the most powerful parts of living minimally is discovering how little you actually need to feel full, energized, and content. And nowhere is this more true than in the way we nourish ourselves in the morning. After breathing, stretching, and enjoying a calm, uncluttered space, the next habit is to give your body something simple, yet nourishing to start the day. Too often, breakfast becomes either something skipped altogether or something heavy that weighs us down. But when you keep it minimal, just a glass of water with a slice of lemon or a light, balanced breakfast like oatmeal with fresh fruit, you're telling your body, here's clean energy to carry you through the morning. Hydration especially is something that sneaks up on us as we age. By the time we feel thirsty, we're often already slightly dehydrated, and dehydration can make us feel more tired, forgetful, and achy. That's why this fourth habit is as simple as drinking a full glass of water before anything else. Place it by your bedside the night before if you need a reminder. And if plain water feels boring, add that slice of lemon, cucumber, or even a few berries. Think of it like watering a plant. Your body needs it to come alive, and the clearer and fresher it is, the better you'll feel. As you sip, notice how even that tiny action gives you a sense of care and intention. It's minimalism at its core, giving your body exactly what it needs, no more, no less. And the amazing part is that staying hydrated throughout the day often leads to more energy, better digestion, and even fewer aches in your joints. Now, once your body has been refreshed, there's another kind of nourishment that deserves just as much attention: your mind. The fifth habit is to create a moment of quiet reflection before the noise of the day takes over. For some, that means prayer. For others, it's meditation, journaling, or even just sitting quietly with a cup of tea and watching the morning light change. What matters most isn't the form. It's the practice of beginning your day with intention instead of distraction. It's so easy to fall into the trap of grabbing your phone, scrolling through headlines, or checking messages before you've even really woken up. But the truth is, those habits invite the world's chaos into your mind before you've had a chance to anchor yourself. Living minimally means protecting your mental space just as much as your physical one. Even 5 minutes spent in gratitude or quiet thought can change your whole outlook. Think of a simple example. Maybe each morning you write down one thing you're grateful for. It could be as big as your health or as small as the sound of birds outside your window. Over time, those little moments of gratitude add up. They shift your focus away from what's missing and onto what's already here. And that's one of the greatest gifts of aging, recognizing that joy doesn't come from more things, but from appreciating what you already have. As your body and mind begin to feel lighter and calmer, the next habit flows naturally, simplifying your morning tasks. This sixth habit is about reducing decisions, reducing stress, and making mornings feel smooth instead of overwhelming. Have you ever noticed how tiring it can be to decide what to wear, what to eat, or what to do first in the day? These little choices pile up and drain energy before you've even begun. But with a minimal morning approach, you can free yourself from that weight. One way is to set out your clothes the night before, something comfortable, simple, and easy to move in. Another is to create a small routine that doesn't change much, so your brain isn't overloaded with options. For example, maybe you always enjoy the same light breakfast during the week and save variety for the weekends. Or maybe you keep only a few favorite, comfortable outfits instead of a closet full of rarely worn clothes. The point isn't to restrict yourself. It's to remove the unnecessary decisions that clutter your mind. When you wake up knowing exactly what comes next, mornings become a flow instead of a struggle. This doesn't just save time, it also reduces stress, which is something our bodies respond to more strongly as we age. Less stress means lower blood pressure, steadier moods, and even better sleep at night. And here's where it gets really powerful. When you combine these habits, hydration, reflection, and simplifying your morning choices, you're not just improving the start of your day. You're laying a foundation for the way you live the rest of your life. You're proving to yourself that living minimally isn't about sacrifice. It's about freedom. Freedom from clutter, from unnecessary stress, from the noise of things that don't truly matter. I want you to imagine what it feels like to move through a morning like this. You wake, breathe deeply, stretch gently, look around a clear and welcoming room, sip refreshing water, spend a few minutes in quiet gratitude, and then glide through simple, stress-free tasks. There's no rush, no overwhelm, no endless list tugging at your mind. Instead, there's energy, calm, and purpose. That feeling stays with you long after the morning ends. It follows you into your afternoon, your evening, and even the way you sleep at night. And the best part? None of these habits require big changes or new purchases. They're not complicated routines or impossible goals. They're small, gentle shifts in the way you greet each day. And those small shifts build upon each other until they transform the way you live. Once you've set the stage with breathing, stretching, hydration, reflection, and a simplified routine, there's one more habit that ties everything together. It's the seventh and perhaps the most important, stepping outside for a dose of morning light and fresh air. There's something deeply healing about connecting with the outdoors, even if it's just for a few minutes. As we age, it's easy to stay indoors more often, but our bodies and minds are wired to respond to natural light. Exposure to morning sunlight helps regulate your internal clock, which improves your sleep at night. It also boosts your mood by stimulating serotonin, a natural feel-good chemical. And let's not forget the gentle movement that often comes with it, walking to the mailbox, tending to a plant, or simply standing on the porch and stretching. This habit doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to plan a long walk or hike unless that's something you enjoy. It can be as simple as sitting by an open window, sipping your tea on the balcony, or stepping into your garden barefoot to feel the earth beneath your feet. The key is to let yourself breathe in the fresh air, notice the colors of the morning, and remind yourself that every new day is a gift. What makes this habit so powerful is the way it blends physical, mental, and emotional well-being into one small act. Your body feels more awake, your mind feels more grounded, and your heart feels a little lighter. When you live minimally, you learn that joy isn't hidden in big achievements or new possessions. It's waiting quietly in small, ordinary moments like these. And when you put all 7 habits together, something shifts. Your mornings no longer feel like something to rush through or survive. They become a ritual, a rhythm, a time that belongs entirely to you. You start the day not with clutter and chaos, but with calm, clarity, and energy. Now I want to pause here and remind you of something important. These habits aren't rules. They're not something you have to do perfectly or in a specific order. They're gentle invitations. Maybe you begin with just one breathing, or stretching, or stepping outside. Maybe some mornings you do 3 of them and others you manage all 7. What matters most is consistency and kindness toward yourself. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Think back to the last time you felt rushed or overwhelmed in the morning. Maybe you couldn't find your keys, or you skipped breakfast, or you started the day already behind. That feeling of stress has a way of following you around, doesn't it? But imagine the opposite. Waking with intention, moving gently, drinking water, enjoying calm reflection, and stepping into fresh air. Instead of stress following you, it's peace. And that peace colors everything you do. This is the heart of living minimally. It's about focusing on what truly matters, not just in your home, but in your routines, your thoughts, and your choices. For seniors especially, this approach can be life-changing. It lightens not just your space, but your spirit. It gives you energy without draining it. And most importantly, it helps you savor the present moment rather than constantly rushing toward the next thing. And I'll tell you this, the mornings you design today will shape the years ahead. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, every single day is an opportunity to create a life that feels lighter, calmer, and more meaningful. Age doesn't take away that choice, it makes it even more precious. So, as we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with this thought. Mornings are not just about getting up. They're about rising into a new chapter of the day, and in many ways, a new chapter of your life. Each small habit you choose is like a stepping stone toward greater health, happiness, and freedom. You don't need to do them all at once. Just begin and let the changes ripple outward. And now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits speaks to you the most? Is it the mindful breathing, the gentle stretching, the gratitude, or the fresh air? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know which ones you're excited to try. Your experience might just inspire someone else in this community to begin their own journey towards simpler, calmer mornings. If this video has given you even one helpful idea, don't forget to give it a like. It really helps more people discover these tips. And if you'd like to keep exploring more ways to live with health, clarity, and joy after 60, be sure to subscribe to the channel. This way, you'll never miss out on the conversations and practical advice we share here. At the end of the day, remember this: you are not defined by your age or by the clutter around you. You are defined by the choices you make, the habits you practice, and the way you choose to live each day. So why not choose calm over chaos, clarity over clutter, and presence over distraction? Here's to mornings that feel lighter, to days that feel brighter, and to a life that feels more meaningful, because you deserve nothing less, no matter your age. You know, the beautiful thing about mornings is that they are fresh starts, little reminders that no matter what yesterday looked like, today can be different. And I think that's something especially important to hold on to as we grow older. Because life after 60 isn't about rushing anymore or about trying to prove anything. It's about savoring, simplifying, and choosing what truly matters. And when you think about it, these 7 simple habits are less about the what and more about the why. You breathe deeply, not just to fill your lungs, but to remind yourself that you're alive, here in this moment. You stretch not just to ease stiffness, but to honor your body for carrying you through so many seasons of life. You drink water not only to quench thirst, but to care for yourself the way you'd care for a loved one. Reflection, gratitude, and simplifying your routine. These are not chores, they're gifts. And stepping outside each morning, even if it's just for a few minutes, is like whispering to yourself, I am connected to something bigger. I belong to this world. Minimalism is often misunderstood as giving things up, but it's really about gaining space in your home, space in your schedule, space in your mind. And mornings are the perfect time to experience that space because they set the tone for everything that follows. When you protect your mornings, you protect your peace. Of course, life isn't perfect. There will be days when the habits don't happen, days when you oversleep, when your body aches a little more, or when unexpected things get in the way. That's okay. What matters is not perfection, but practice. If you miss one day, start again the next. If you only manage one habit, celebrate that one. Over time, consistency builds results, and results build confidence. And here's something I want you to remember. Change doesn't need to be dramatic to be meaningful. A single glass of water in the morning, a single stretch, a single breath of fresh air that might not feel like much, but added up over weeks and months. These small actions become powerful. They create resilience in your body, calm in your mind, and joy in your heart. I also want you to imagine how these habits ripple outward. When you start your morning calmly, you're kinder to yourself and to others. You might find you have more patience with your spouse, your grandchildren, or even the cashier at the grocery store. You might notice you have more energy to enjoy hobbies, to go for a walk, to call a friend, or to finally open that book that's been waiting on the shelf. That's the secret gift of living minimally. It doesn't just lighten your mornings, it lightens your life. Suddenly, instead of being weighed down by clutter, decisions, or stress, you're free to focus on what really brings joy. So I want to ask you this. What do you want your mornings to feel like? Do you want them rushed and filled with noise, or do you want them calm, simple, and nourishing? The answer to that question can guide the rest of your days, and in many ways, the rest of your years. And here's another gentle reminder, your mornings belong to you. Even if the rest of the day is busy, even if there are responsibilities and appointments and things outside your control, the way you begin is something you can shape. That's your gift to yourself. So whether you start tomorrow with one new habit or all 7, know that each small step is worth it. Celebrate the progress, celebrate the effort, and most of all, celebrate the fact that you're still here, still learning, still creating a life that feels good. If you found value in this conversation, I'd love for you to join me in making this a community. Share your favorite morning ritual in the comments, whether it's one of the habits we've talked about today or something unique that works for you. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you haven't already, remember to hit that like button and subscribe. Not just for this video, but because this is a space where we share encouragement, practical tips, and reminders that life after 60 is full of possibilities. Every time you connect with us here, you're reminding yourself that you're not alone on this journey. So let's raise a metaphorical glass together, to mornings that feel lighter, to days that feel brighter, and to lives that grow richer not with things, but with moments. Here's to you, and to the beautiful simplicity that comes when you choose to live minimally, one morning at a time.